So the first thing we're going to do today to prepare the Alieneye is to take the lens out. If you don't take the lens out for the next operations, then you could damage it. So you need a small screwdriver, and what you want to do, since the screws are so small, you should put them in a small plastic bag so they don't get lost. So there's 3 of them here. Take it out, put it on the table there, and the 3rd one here. Now the ring is kind of tight, but so it's loose enough now. There you go. So now the lamp is ready for the next process. So the next step is optional, but if you'd like to make sure your Alieneye is watertight, we can isolate the base section and seal it off with silicone rubber. And so you take these 2 screws out here. Basically the electronics is here in the bottom portion, with 2 hard wires to the LED on this side, the chip LED. So all you want to do here is lay in a bead of silicone rubber, and then we'll put the screws back in. So I already have my silicone ready, so I'm just going to lay it in on this edge here like this. Make sure you cover the holes there on the base, so that any water that seeps in won't go through the holes. Like I said, this is optional. If it's really going to be wet and you got the extra time and you got the silicone rubber, then you can do this sealing process. Yeah, but it's not 100% required. I don't think you have any problem with water, but some people want to make sure. So then you can get your screw ready here and screw the thing back down. So, I have to find the screw there. It looks like it didn't find itself yet. Oops. And you can screw that end down. Then you'll want to wipe off the excess silicone on the outside. So you've sealed the first part. When we're done with the lamp, then we'll seal the lens in. What I want to do is cut these little tabs off the switch so it doesn't get in the way. Just use an X-Acto knife and rock it down here and cut the tab off both sides. Also here. And then for our connector, we need to prepare this as well. What we want to do is bend this out to here, and then cut off this portion, so we won't need that anymore. And then what we need to do is cut off 3 pieces of wire about 35 millimeters. I prefer to use a solid wire. Makes a solid tin wire, makes the further assembly easier. It holds the switch kind of in place when we do the other assembly operations. So there, we have our 3 pieces of wire, and then on 2 pieces what we want to do is put in little 90-degree bends like that. It's going to help us for our soldering operation later with the little 90-degree bend. Okay, we're going to get ready to do some of the soldering now. We take our switch here, which we cut the tabs off, and I prefer to hold it in a piece of molding clay. Makes the soldering much easier. And I'm going to solder one of the pieces of the wire on that has the 90-degree bend in it. So what we want to do first is to pre-tin the switch. Don't leave the heat on too long. And then what we want to do now is solder the piece of wire in here with the 90-degree bend. And so, problem is the solder is taking too long to settle up. So don't leave the heat on it too long. And then what we want to do now is prepare the connector here. You can see this 90-degree angle here. And the soldering is a little difficult, so I like to use a holder here. So now what we want to do is solder up this connector, get that ready. So what I like to do is take a positive end here, put it through a water bottle thing. I need to hold this thing tight so that it's easy to solder. And what I do now is put a little heat on here, make sure, and then get the solder in there. And then pre-tin this area here too. Now I take the part with the 90-degree wire, 90-degree end, the small 90-degree end, and I solder this in opposite this tab here so you can get this hot again, and solder in your wire. And the other wire you can solder off the other side. And you can take this out of here and we can solder it up to the switch here. And what we want to do is take the side from the center and solder it on to the switch here. I've already pre-tinned this lead here, and what you want to do is just bend this here a little bit, kind of a 90-degree angle, and solder that bad boy on there. So let it set up, and so then you're all set for this portion of the electrical assembly.